Back again to talk about round two of the NFL draft. Colts making some moves, making some plays, picking up some playmakers potentially. We're going to talk about all that and more on this, the No Horsing Around podcast. So we get out of day one. We've reviewed Leatu Latu, correct? And now we roll into day two, and you're going into the second round. And I think everybody and their mother knew the Colts needed to go get a wide receiver. A lot of people obviously still talking corner. You still had Cooper DeJean on the board, Kool-Aid McKinstry on the board, right? So you still had all those, but I think in everybody's gut, we knew receiver was probably where they were going to go. And I don't know about y'all, but round two starts up, and immediately, Keon Coleman's gone. Lab McConkey's gone. Then you go a little bit further down, further down the list, and you have Jalen Polk gone. So 3 receivers gone in the first handful of picks in the second round. You're like, man. And Colts are sitting there at 46, and you're wondering, what are they going to do at 46, right? Felt pretty good about who was still on the board at that point, but it was going to be really interesting. And it pops up. I'm sitting at a family get-together watching it with a handful of Titans fans and a Rams fan, right? And I look up, and they're, Colts are trading back. Okay, Colts are trading back with the Panthers to 52. Okay, so obviously there's a handful of people they like on the board. They feel like they can back up, and they're going to get one of them. So we keep going. Obviously 52 comes up, and then, it comes across, right? Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell. And at this point, I'm ecstatic at the pick, right? At this point in the draft, you just got what a lot of people will characterize as a top 15, top 20, at least round one pick in the mid to late second round. The dude is a bona fide stud on the field, right? We heard Chris Ballard actually go a lot into the off the field and the anonymous reports of his work ethic and how he didn't perform well in the interviews. And we've all seen the videos. Everyone has seen the videos of him not giving full effort on some of the routes last year at Texas, right? Like, that was a concern. But where you're sitting at, he is hands down the best receiver that's still on the board. Runs a what is it, 4.34? Has the best catching, has the best hands probably in the draft. I mean, you go back and obviously he started at Georgia. He ended up at Texas, played 2 years at Georgia, freshman and sophomore year, and didn't do, 4 touchdowns his freshman year, 3 his sophomore, about 14 yards a catch. Then he goes to Texas, and he has 845 yards, 11 touchdowns, and he's catching at 15 yards a clip, right? Dude is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, set the record for most touchdown catches in the college football playoff. And you might ask, why did he go from Georgia to Texas? In a lot of the things pre-draft, they talk about that he's from Texas. He had grown up in Texas a little bit. He's had family back in Texas, and he had a little girl, and he wanted to go back and be closer to family. Fun fact, he's actually from Cane Ridge, which is here in Tennessee, so that's pretty freaking cool. But, the type 1 diabetes, things like that. But obviously he passed the sniff test for Ballard. Ballard coming out after the draft and was livid about the reports, and really stood on, put 10 toes down in front of the mic and just stood up for the player he just drafted. When asked, when the first thing you get to talk to with AD Mitchell, he goes, "I'm pissed. I'm ready to get to work. What do you consider yourself, the best receiver?" Like, "I'm ready to get to work." So, you're getting a guy who's extremely motivated. So I like that pick. I think it complements it all very well. Michael Pittman Jr. had already reached out to him. A lot of the team had already reached out to him. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm okay with it. And if it's any context, the Titans and the Rams fans were pissed that the Colts got that guy. So, and then the next one, obviously, you go you don't trade up. You don't really. Well, I mean, you do trade up, but you don't really move around much. You get into round three, and the Colts at 79 take Matt Gonzalez. Ooh, man, it's a tough name. An offensive tackle. And I texted Zach about this one, and I was kind of like, well, that's a little bit of a head scratcher. You got a pretty good O line. I mean, it's a depth piece. It's been reported that he can play up to four different positions on the O line. Um, Ballard always looking to solidify that. You never know. You're not going to have your starting five across the line for the entire season. You need someone who can step in. This is a very pro ready guy. This is a guy that put a lot of good stuff on tape. Um, and could step in if needed, depending on how he does, obviously, right? So I mean, it was a head scratcher for me because the offensive tackle was not on my list of needs, right? You were thinking corner, maybe safety. I told Zach maybe even a linebacker at a certain point, maybe another wideout. Um, so it was confusing a little bit to see that, but I think it's a very solid pick. And then go and watch the video. It's amazing. I mean, the dude is so excited. You can hear it in the background. Ballard's laughing, hands it to Steichen. Steichen can hardly hear him from the family yelling in the background. So I mean, overall, I think it's a really, really solid day two. I think your AD Mitchell pick is probably an A because of where you got him and the talent that he has, right? And the character concerns are there. That you have a little bit of that, but at the same token, you have built a receiver room with Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, led by Reggie Wayne, who can hold him who are there to hold him accountable, right? And then you get a really solid depth piece in round three that is a jack of all trades on the O line that you're going to need. So overall, I give it a good grade. I want to hear from you guys. I know I'm going to hear from Basel. I know I'm going to hear from everybody. Light me up. Let me hear it. Put it in the comments. What do you think of the AD Mitchell pick? What do you think of the Matt Gonzalez pick? What do you think of round 2 and 3 altogether? How has it been? As always, you guys like, share, subscribe, comment, all those great things. And as always, I love you. He's not sitting next to me, but I know he loves you too. It's Zach. I'm out.